Why is everyone moving to Arizona? That's a really good question because a lot of people are. The Grand Canyon State has been one of the most moved to states in the US for decades. Throughout the state's history, Arizona has been a landing spot for people wanting a new life. Since the 1870 census, Arizona has gained double digits in population at least. Every time the census, people pull out their calculators or abacuses, depending on the decade. Obviously, a majority of the people moving to Arizona are finding landing spots in the various suburbs around the big cities. In today's video, we're looking at the 10 best suburbs in Arizona. Now, we got our ranking by looking at crime rate, poverty rate, traffic, schools, and amenities. Amenities means things like they got a lot of stores, entertainment, gas stations, things like that. I'm also going to include some rankings from niche.com. Niche.com ranks it like the best place to retire, best place for families, things like that. And I'll include that so you get an idea of who should move there. Got it? Get it? Good. Let's take a look. Number 10, Carefree Arizona. Besides sounding like a great place to live, it is a pretty nice place to retire. Niche.com ranks them the 9th best place to retire in Arizona. Some of the other rankings are about the city, but overall, in the state of Arizona, this is one of the best places to retire, which is fitting because the town is called Carefree, and that just screams retire here and golf. Carefree has a population of almost 3,700 residents, and it's on the north side of the Phoenix metro area. Side note, in case you don't understand what metro area is, it's a city that's normally a major city, and the metro area includes that and all the surrounding communities that share a border and different industries with that major city. I had someone email me and let me know I didn't know what I was talking about because San Diego is not a metro area, it's actually a city, which it is a city, but it's also the San Diego metro area. I know I shouldn't assume, but I assume that person was in the 7th grade or just wandered out of the Amazon after being raised by an uncontacted tribe. Carefree is a little expensive like most places that show up on a positive list. The cost of living is almost 50% higher than the national average. Their crime rate's about 80% below the national average, which is outstanding. And if you want to buy some real estate here, a decent home starts around $600,000 and goes all the way up into the $2 and $3 million area. So it's a little pricey, but it's a great place to live. If you like to golf, they have at least 6 golf courses surrounding the town and 1 in the town. Number 9, Paradise Valley, Arizona. Paradise Valley is in the Phoenix metro area just north of downtown Phoenix. The city has a motto that goes, "There's a reason we call this valley paradise." What is that reason? Is it the golf courses? They have a couple in town and a bunch in the area. Paradise Valley is also home to 8 full-service resorts, making it one of Arizona's best tourist destinations. Paradise Valley had a population of almost 13,000 in 2020, and right now it's probably a little bit over 13,000. Their crime rate's 34% below the national average, and they got a cost of living that is about 127% above. Niche.com ranks them as the 3rd best suburb to raise a family in the Phoenix area. So this one, for I'd say about 99% of us, is unrealistic when it comes to home prices. There's nothing below $1 million here, and I would say a majority of them are over 2.5 million. Don't get me wrong, these are beautiful homes. I mean, some of them are like $20 million, $16 million I'm looking at, and they are absolutely beautiful homes. They're just painfully expensive. If you could find one for below $1.5 million, it's like a unicorn. Number 8, Gilbert, Arizona. Staying in the Phoenix, Arizona area, we have the town of Gilbert. Gilbert is a good-sized suburb southeast of downtown Phoenix. They have about 275,000 residents, a little bit below that, but they're getting close. They might have passed that already. In 2021, they had 273,000. Gilbert is an outstanding place if you want to raise a family. Actually, niche.com ranks them as the best suburb to raise a family in the Phoenix area. Gilbert is on the affordable side. They've got a cost of living that is only like 5% above the national average, which isn't bad. And you can actually find homes here that are decent, livable for about $350,000 to $500,000. $350,000 is kind of rare. You're probably looking at, to buy a decent place, somewhere over $400,000 to $600,000. That's probably the target area you're looking for. They don't have many that are over $1 million, but they do have some there that, they're getting up there. They have great schools. and a crime rate that's 50% below the national average, so those two things together make it a great place to raise a family. Even though it is an affordable place to live, they got plenty of golf courses in and around Gilbert. And I would say about 75% of the homes have a swimming pool. When you live in the Phoenix metro area or all of Nevada and Arizona, you pretty much need a swimming pool, unless, I don't know, you're half camel or something like that. You can probably get by without having one. Number 7, Oro Valley, Arizona. Oro Valley is where all the cool people live. At least that's what a friend told me. He also told me the hills above Oro Valley is where the Lost Dutchman's gold is. I was like, I thought that was outside of Apache Junction, and he said, no, that is where the mine is. The gold is hidden near Oro Valley. Now, this was before Google, so I trusted him. And here's a lesson. Never trust a man that drinks grain alcohol with his dinner. He made the whole story up. But Oro Valley is very real, and it's a great place to live. Niche.com ranks them as the second best suburb in the Tucson area. Just so you know, I have called this Oro Valley so many times while trying to record this, which if it was called Oro Valley, it paints a completely different picture of the place. Oro Valley has a good mix of younger families and retirees. Their crime rate is about 46% below the national average. Their schools get high marks, and they have a cost of living that's 15% above the national average. It's above, but that's not terrible. If you want to buy a home here, a decent one's going to start off around $375,000. The nicer ones are around $500,000 on up. This is definitely not a bad suburb to live in. They have plenty of golf and resorts in Oro Valley. Number 6, Chandler, Arizona. Chandler, Arizona is southeast of downtown Phoenix, and this suburb prides itself on its many parks, including the Desert Breeze Park, which has a vintage train ride you can go on. The Desert Breeze Railroad, it's called. It's also not too far from the Lost Dutchman State Park, which has nothing to do with the mine or the gold. That's just what it's called. This is a really nice suburb in the Phoenix metro area, so much so that Niche.com has them at the number 1 spot when it comes to great suburbs to live in the Phoenix metro area. Chandler has a crime rate that is 12% lower than the national average, which is outstanding, and their cost of living is only 8% above the national average, so, really not a bad place to live. If you want to get a house here, they start around $400,000, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit higher. Those are the decent ones, and they go up. If you really want a good house, you're probably looking about $450,000 to $500,000. We'll get you in something really nice, but they start around $400,000. Number 5, Scottsdale, Arizona. If you haven't heard about Scottsdale, Arizona, you're not in Arizona or you aren't anywhere near the retirement age. Scottsdale is northeast of downtown Phoenix and it overflows with retirees. This has been a hot spot for the over-the-hill gang for decades. In 2022, Niche.com rated Scottsdale as the best place to retire in the United States, not just Arizona, but the entire country. Scottsdale has plenty of condos, apartments, and places for retirees. They also have a crime rate that's 12% lower than the national average and a cost of living that's 22% above. When it comes to real estate, you might be able to find something around $550,000, maybe $600,000, but a majority of the homes are going to be like $750,000 on up into the millions. Number 4, Litchfield Park, Arizona. Litchfield Park is on the other side of the Aquafina River from downtown Phoenix. Now, if you've ever seen the Aquafina River, you would understand using the word river, they're being very generous. Every time I've seen this place, it is dry as a bone. Litchfield Park is just south of Luke Air Force Base, and it has a population of just around 7,000 residents. It was 6,900 in 2021, so I'm sure they're over it by now, because it's a popular place to live. How could it not be? They got some golf courses, they got a dry stretch of land posing as a river. To be fair, I'm sure during the rainy season some water runs through there, but honestly, every time I've been by there, the amount of water that's going through that thing, you probably jump over without even a running start. It's like a glorified creek, but it's big enough to keep a river there. It just doesn't have one. That's Arizona for you. Litchfield Park has some really good stats. Their crime rate's 60% below the national average, and their cost of living is only 15% above the national average. When you look at the real estate, you could find something pretty easy here for $400,000, and it's not a bad place to live. There's several of them like that. That's kind of odd. You even have some other ones that might need a little work that are going for $350,000, so it's not horrible. The stats seem like a place where it'd be much more expensive, but it's not, and that's why Niche.com ranks them number 3 for the best suburb to buy a home in the Phoenix area. Number 3, Queen Creek, Arizona. Queen Creek, Arizona sounds like it should be called Queens Creek. And to be perfectly honest, I'm reading it right now. It says Queen Creek, but I gotta tell you, I've been struggling not to call it Queens Creek. This is a strange place. They have good stats and reasonable real estate, but they also have a ton of homes for sale, like way more than almost any place in Arizona. When you see that, there's usually something wrong with the neighborhood. I don't see what's wrong with the neighborhood. I mean, they have a new stretch of road. Meridian Road now goes to German Road. Maybe that's chasing everyone out, gonna bring a bad element in. Who knows? They did have one of those signs I thought was a little ridiculous of a bunch of office workers and maybe politicians. I don't know who they were, but they're holding up signs on the road says teamwork gets things done, like they should get an award for this. It's like, you people go back to your air conditioning. You don't get to celebrate this. The people that celebrate it are the guys that poured that asphalt in 120-degree weather in Queen Creek, Arizona. Queen Creek has a crime rate that is 27% below the national average, and their cost of living is only 13% above the national average. They have great schools, housing, low unemployment. Everything's good here. I'm not sure why everyone's selling their homes, but I will tell you, Niche.com does rank them as number 4 in the best suburb to buy a home in the Phoenix area. Number 2, Anthem, Arizona. Anthem, Arizona is north of downtown Phoenix, and it's pretty much the last good-sized city that you'd get to before you reach out into the desert of Arizona. They're ranked as the 6th best suburb to buy a home in the Phoenix area. Now, number 6 doesn't sound that high, but they're also the 7th best place to raise a family in the Phoenix metro area, and they're the 10th best suburb in the Phoenix metro area. One thing that makes this place so appealing is it's not right there in the middle of everything. It's kind of outside the metro area. I mean, it's at the edge. It's not outside the metro area, but it's pretty close to it. You can still gather kind of that small town vibe from a place like this. They have great schools, and they got about 22,000 people that enjoy a crime rate that's 50% lower than the national average. Their cost of living isn't terrible. It's only 17% above. Not bad at all. Employment numbers are good. Next to no poverty. All in all, it's a great place to live, and they're number 2. All right, before we get to number 1, I'm not going to pump my other channel or anything like that. I just want to stop and tell everyone thank you for watching my videos and my channels. I really appreciate it. It means the world to me. I hope you all learn a little something and are entertained. All right, on to number 1. And number 1. Catalina Foothills, Arizona. Catalina Foothills is a suburb, but it's also an unincorporated community north of Tucson in Prima County. It is surrounded by foothills, golf courses, and the Tucson Mall. So since this is on the edge of the town and it has the foothills right behind it, it sort of has this rural desert feel to it. All the properties, or I should say most of the properties, have a little space between them too. They're not right on top of each other. A lot of the areas in Arizona, especially around the cities, they grade the land down and they put up these grids of new housing projects or new housing areas. These places, they kind of follow the land. So it's just kind of, it's different. Well, I shouldn't say different. It's just kind of nice. It's a break from what most of Arizona's got going on in the populated areas. Catalina Foothills have a cost of living that's about 27% above the national average, and their crime rate's 47% below the national average. So that's pretty good. Their schools are graded A+, which is outstanding. Very low unemployment. Housing's a little up there. It's not crazy, but it's up there. I mean, most homes here start off around 550 to 600,000, and they get up into the millions. But they're usually a good-sized house on a good-sized lot, so you're getting a little something for that extra money. Niche.com says they are the absolute best suburb to live in Arizona. Not just the Tucson area, they're number 1 in the state. That is great. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, have a great day, and be nice to each other.